Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. That's right, I'm covering every single one of these today, and don't you say anything. This is the Crack of the Heavens Grand Charm. I know you guys love that name, the Crack of the Heavens. My girlfriend is always joking on my Crack of the Heavens. And this is a level 75 charm. It is a ability that has the Sundered effect. So monsters' lightning immunity is sundered. Lightning resistance reduced by negative 75% to your personal character. So when you look on your character screen and you put this charm on, you'll notice I'm at 61% lightning resistance. And when I drop the charm in my inventory, I go down to negative 14. So pretty hefty penalty for utilizing the effect of this particular charm. Now, what does Sundered do? Sundered specifically is the ability to break a monster's resistance that is immune. This does nothing to monsters that are not immune, by the way. Only affects monsters that are immune to lightning. And what it does is it takes that monster's resistance and it brings it down to 95%. They are effectively sundered. Now, 95% resistance is still kind of nasty. And it's still going to, like, ridiculously rip down your damage. Let's take my own damage right here, which is 5,796 on my chain lightning. If you were to run that on a calculator, just for example, so 5,796 minus 95% brings us down to 289.8 damage, which is pretty pathetic, to be honest, right? So, you don't really have a lot of damage versus a monster that's sundered, but what this does offer you is it offers you the ability to potentially make things better. It opens the door, essentially. And by breaking the immunity, you can then utilize other pieces of equipment, which you would, obviously want to have on a character like this. Like, for instance, the Talrash's 4-piece bonus gives negative 15% enemy lightning resistance, which will bring that 95 down to, 80? There are other items in the game that have negative enemy lightning resistance, and I'd like to go over those real quick. I've actually compiled them together in a little character here. And we're going to talk about all of these items real quick and what they could potentially mean for your character. So first off, we have Griffin's Diadem, which of course is a very rare and very sought-after item, which has a total of negative 20% enemy lightning resistance. We also have the Lightning Facet, which could potentially be put inside of the Griffin's Eye to enhance it even further, which has negative 5% enemy lightning resistance. There are also items in the game that offer other effects, like, for instance, the Crescent Moon, which has negative 35% enemy lightning resistance, and also the Plague Sword, which offers lower resistance when struck, which could also be stacked with the effect. And then, of course, the mother of all negative lightning resistance items is the Infinity, which has a massive negative 55% enemy lightning resistance on the weapon itself, in combination with a level 12 Conviction Aura, which could also be technically combined with this. Now, in my testing so far, I have found that it does seem as though the penalty for the resistance aura and the resistance curse are not being applied to sundered monsters. So if you have, for instance, a conviction item like the Infinity, normally it would be 20% effective versus immunes. But it does seem like in the situation where you are utilizing the Sundered charm, the monster will be sundered down to 95%, and then the conviction seems to affect the monster at full strength. Now, I could be wrong about this, but in our testing, it did certainly seem as though it was a full strength effect, not a reduced effect version. So items like Plague with lower resistance and, of course, Infinity with Conviction can certainly be useful to beef that up even more. And utilizing specific items like this, you could potentially bring the enemy resistance of a monster down even further than the 95%. So obviously, the lowest that you can possibly go is negative 100%, and you would have to stack a fair bit of equipment to reach that negative 100%, including things like Talrash's. Now, there are a lot of characters that can get good use out of this particular charm. And quite honestly, I mean, the list is pretty long. We have Tesladins, of course, can get you very good use out of the Crack of the Heavens. You could also get very good use out of this on a Lightning Sorceress, obviously, of many different builds. Nova, Lightning, Chain Lightning. T-Storm. You can also get very good use out of this on a Javazon, the Lightning Javazon, as well as the Lightning Spearzon could also get very good use out of this particular charm. And even characters like the, I'm trying to think here, like an Enchantress using Lightning Mastery and Lightning Damage charms would get good use out of something like this. Quite honestly, there's just so many different variables, various characters that definitely have a lot of fun using lightning damage attacks, even Fist of the Heaven Paladins, that, having the ability to break those immunities and then drop them down even further is certainly going to be extremely useful for those characters. Now, of course, we also have the negative 75% lightning resist, which is going to have to be countered, and you can certainly do that using specific pieces of equipment that have that specific resistance on them. There are a lot of various pieces of equipment throughout the game which have a very specific resistance as opposed to like all resistances. Just off the top of my head, when it comes to lightning resistance, I believe we're looking at things like Blackhorn's Face, Maelstrom U-Wand, High Lord's Wrath. I mean, we've got like Rockstopper Saleh has pretty good lightning resistance. Spire of Lazarus has 75% lightning resistance, and so forth and so on. So I think you're going to see a lot more of these kind of like crazy items with really large resistances to one specific element. I think Storm Spike is also another one. They see a little bit more use than they probably have otherwise. And also the other thing that we have to take into account here is charms. So no longer will we be always looking for the all resistance charms. Not to say they're not going to be valuable, they will be. But we're going to be looking for more specifically the specific 11% small charms, which are going to help counter the negative resistance and bring that up a little bit further. And it's also very interesting to note that, some of the monsters that are the most deadly in terms of lightning damage are also the same monsters that are immune to that damage. So, for instance, if you're using this to kill Gloams, which is one of the nastiest lightning monsters in the game, you're also effectively making yourself weak to those same Gloams. So it's a very interesting scenario where you are strong against those characters, to fight them, but also weak against them, against their attacks by using this charm. So it's a double-edged sword. Now, I'm trying to think if there's anything else we can talk about here with this. Trade value. Trade value is definitely going to be pretty high for these lightning charms. I do feel like the cold charm is probably going to be the top of the list, but the lightning Crack of the Heavens Grand Charm is definitely going to be up there, probably number 2 or number 3. And it's certainly going to maintain its trade value. So if you do happen to find one of these, which I'm not sure if I covered that or not, but they do only drop from the terrorized zones and only from the champs, uniques, and the rare monsters. It's definitely going to be one to hang on to, even if you don't specifically need it yourself, because you'll be able to trade it for one that you do. All in all, these charms are very interesting because they don't effectively fix the issue for you, but they open the door for you to fix the issue utilizing other pieces of equipment. They can potentially be combined with things like lore resistance and conviction to greater effect, and all in all, I do feel like they are very interesting additions to the game, and I certainly really like the double-edged sword mechanic. If they were only sundering immunities, I would be a little upset. But because they have a very nice effect with a negative, it's going to either A, encourage people to use them, or B, make people think twice about, using one of these Crack of the Heavens when you're doing a Gloam battle. Man, if you run into Chaos Sanctuary, or no, not Chaos Sanctuary, if you run into Baal's Throne Room and it's full of Gloams, you're going to want to take this off immediately. You're just going to be like, ugh, get it out of here. And you throw it in the stash as quick as possible so you don't end up dead in 2 seconds. Either that or you're just going to, like, long-range battle and hope you hit them from really far away. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos. Be sure to comment down below and let me know what you think about the Crack of Heavens. And a heart goes to the guy or gal who has the best Crack of the Heavens joke. I want to hear your cheesy dad jokes on Crack of the Heavens. Let's go. And if you want to keep watching, be sure to hit that subscribe button.